Speaker, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to welcome to the House of Representatives the Department of Foreign Affairs, headed by Secretary Maria Teresa P. Lazaro, and its attached agencies, namely the Foreign Service Institute, the Presidential Commission on Visiting Forces, the Secretariat of the Technical Cooperation Council of the Philippines, and the UNESCO National Commission of the Philippines. Mr. Speaker, it is my honor to sponsor the DFA's proposed budget for fiscal year 2026 in the amount of 30.1 billion pesos. This allocation, Mr. Speaker, consisting of 29.8 billion pesos in new appropriations and 281 million in automatic appropriations, represents an 8% increase from the current fiscal year 2025 budget and is less than half of a percent of the total proposed national budget. Fellow members of this honorable chamber, the Department of Foreign Affairs has been at the forefront in promoting and protecting our nation's interests overseas. The women and men of the Foreign Service in the Philippines and around the world work tirelessly to preserve and enhance our national security, promote our economic interests, protect the interests of overseas Filipinos, and ensure that the Philippines has a strong and steady voice on the global stage. Over the past year, the increasingly complex international environment has underscored the need for a strategic and proactive approach to diplomacy. In response, the DFA has seized opportunities to expand engagement and strengthen cooperation with international partners in support of the country's foreign policy and domestic development objectives. Next year will be another banner year for the Department of Foreign Affairs. In January, the Philippines takes the helm of ASEAN. The DFA, as the lead for the political security pillar, will be at the forefront in promoting our key priorities in the regional agenda. The Philippines will host around 645 meetings over the course of 2026, which will be spread out in various provinces, allowing us to showcase the incomparable beauty of our country. In June of 2026, we hope to be elected to a non-permanent seat in the United Nations National Security Council for the term 2027 to 2028. This will give us, Mr. Speaker, a greater voice in global affairs and an excellent platform to strengthen the rules-based international order, making the Philippines a center of gravity in the Indo-Pacific. Throughout 2026, the DFA will also continue to strengthen our network of bilateral, unilateral, and multilateral partnerships in pursuit of mutually beneficial cooperation in various sectors, including strengthening the rule of law, promoting human rights, including those of seafarers and other overseas Filipinos, disaster risk reduction, science and innovation, and people-to-people exchanges. Maritime security will continue to be at the top of our foreign policy priorities. The DFA will remain steadfast in upholding the country's sovereignty, sovereign rights, and jurisdiction, especially in the West Philippine Sea. With international law, particularly the 1982 UNCLOS and the 2016 Arbitral Award, as the two anchors of our maritime policy, the Department will continue to pursue meaningful dialogue, pragmatic approaches, and other peaceful means in addressing issues in the maritime domain, including advancing maritime cooperation through maritime dialogue mechanisms. Mr. Speaker, fellow members of this august chamber, service to the Filipino people will remain the cornerstone of the Department of Foreign Affairs programs for the coming year. Mahalaga ang papel na ginagampanan ng DFA sa pagbibigay ng serbisyo sa ating mga kababayan, sa loob man ng ating bansa o sa ibayong dagat. We owe it to our kababayans to ensure that the department's programs continue to be adequately funded so that the DFA can continue providing efficient and effective services to Filipinos. Patuloy na nakikipagtulungan ang DFA sa iba't ibang ahensya ng pamahalaan upang masiguro ang kapakanan ng ating mga kababayan na nakakaranas ng suliranin o naiipit sa mga kaguluhan at karahasan, kabilang na ang kasalukuyang sigalot sa gitnang silangan. Kapit-bisig ang Department of Foreign Affairs at ang Department of Migrant Workers na pag-aruga sa ating mga kababayan sa ibayong dagat. The DFA, Mr. Speaker, has also achieved notable progress in bringing its services closer to the people through the opening of new consular offices and foreign service posts. Nilalapit ng DFA ang kanilang serbisyo publiko, kagaya ng passport at iba pang consular services sa ating mga kababayan sa lugar sa labas ng Maynila. Ngayon ay may 42 consular offices na ang nabuksan sa buong bansa. Bukod pa dito, Mr. Speaker, mayroon ding online systems para sa passports at apostille application. Similarly, the DFA has expanded its global reach with the opening of our embassies in Colombia, Finland, Ireland, and Romania in 2024. This year, Mr. Speaker, the DFA is already sending landing teams to open an embassy in Fiji, which will also serve as our permanent mission to the Pacific Islands Forum, as well as consulates general in Seattle, Washington, in the state of Washington in the USA, Busan, in the Republic of Korea, and Ho Chi Minh in Vietnam, to cater to the needs of Filipinos and to advance economic partnerships in these jurisdictions. The DFA has proposed budgetary allocations in the 2026 National Expenditure Program for the opening of our embassies in Kazakhstan and Ghana, and a consulate general in Miami, Florida, in the United States. The importance of opening these new foreign service posts cannot be overstated, Mr. Speaker. It is high time that we have a resident diplomatic presence in Central Asia, a region of considerable importance in terms of energy and critical minerals. Similarly, Ghana is one of Africa's largest economies, and having an embassy there enables us to maximize the potential of our relations with West Africa. And our consulate general in Florida will bring government services closer to more than 200,000 Filipinos in the American Southeast and the Caribbean. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues in the House of Representatives, given the DFA's commendable service in safeguarding and advancing Philippine national interest, I respectfully urge this House to support the approval of the DFA's entire proposed 2026 budget. In supporting the department's budget, we reaffirm our commitment to a foreign policy that is independent, robust, principled, and proactive. Mr. Speaker, through this 2026 budget, we are providing the women and men and women of the Foreign Service the means to realize our vision of a Philippines held in high regard internationally, trusted by partners, and fully capable of protecting its citizens. In these unpredictable and challenging times, Mr. Speaker, we, as members of this House of Representatives of the Filipino people, must ensure that the DFA has the resources it needs to fulfill its mandate in promoting our national interests on the global stage. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Speaker, and I'm now ready to welcome inquiries from the floor.
Salamat, Representative Adiong, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the Honorable Representative Presley De Jesus of the PhilReca Party List for his interpellation.
PhilReca Representative Presley De Jesus is recognized to interpellate the sponsor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Will the distinguished sponsor yield some questions from this representation?
Gladly, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, before I start my question, I have also a statement. The Department of Foreign Affairs is one of the most visible arms of our government, standing as both the face of our nation abroad and the primary line of defense for the millions of Filipinos who live and work overseas. Every day, it carries out the dual responsibility of representing our country in the global community, while at the same time safeguarding the welfare of our people beyond our borders. It is no exaggeration to say that the trust placed in the department directly impacts the lives, dignity, and safety of countless Filipinos. As we deliberate on the proposed budget, our focus must go beyond the peso amount and look closely at its impact. The question before us is whether these resources will truly translate into stronger protection for our overseas workers, faster and more reliable consular services for our citizens, and a diplomacy program that delivers visible benefit to ordinary Filipinos. We recognize the challenges faced by the department, the complexity of global affairs, the growing demands of consular services, and the urgency of responding to crises involving Filipinos abroad. At the same time, we also see gaps in the full utilization of past budgets and the lingering difficulties in delivering timely services to the public. These realities underscore the need for Congress to engage the department in constructive dialogue, not to cast blame, but to ensure that every peso appropriated is maximized in service of our people. In this spirit, this representation raises questions that aim to clarify the department's priorities, assess its absorptive capacity, and identify the measure it is undertaking to ensure efficiency and accountability. Our intent is to work with the department to strengthen its ability to meet the needs of our citizens and to enhance its contribution to the advancement of nation's interests. So my first question to our distinguished sponsor, Mr. Speaker, how many countries left that we don't have diplomatic ties or even embassy or consulate? Ilan po ba ang mga bansa na wala tayong embassy or consular or even a diplomatic tie?
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, there are only 3 countries which we believe that we don't have any official partnership.
Can you name, Mr. Speaker, this would sponsor the 3 countries that we don't have diplomatic ties?
Mr. Speaker, number 1 is Kosovo. We don't have any diplomatic relations with Kosovo. And also Bhutan, we are actually working on forming in these diplomatic relations with Bhutan. And the other one, I have to refer to the DFA for a more accurate data, Mr. Speaker.
Take your time, Mr. Speaker, this would sponsor.
Mr. Speaker, I have to correct my earlier answer. It's not actually 3, but so far as the data of the DFA is concerned, we only have 2 countries that have yet to be that we have yet to establish diplomatic relations. One is I mentioned Kosovo, and the other one is Bhutan, which currently we are now forming or establishing our partnership in the near future, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished sponsor, do you have any kababayan lives in those 2 mentioned countries?
I suppose there might be Filipinos living, but since we don't have a diplomatic relations with these countries, we don't have the official data of how many Filipinos living in these mentioned countries, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor. That is why the Philippine government, through DFA, is working on establishing a diplomatic relations with Bhutan so that we can also facilitate at least collecting the residents of Filipinos in this said country, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
I agree with you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished sponsor. What will happen in case they need the help of our government? Since you mentioned that we don't have diplomatic ties with them, so what will happen?
Mr. Speaker, those countries that are nearer to the mentioned countries, for example, in Kosovo, the nearest the embassy and consulate, Mr. Speaker, to Kosovo is Hungary. So if there are, for example, Filipino citizens living in this area who are may be needing assistance from our government, the nearest embassy and consulate that we can use in order to provide for the assistance of these Filipinos will be Hungary in the case of Kosovo, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor. So practicality in the proximity area is also of the utmost consideration insofar as providing assistance to Filipinos living abroad, especially in these areas mentioned. In Bhutan, Mr. Speaker, New Delhi is the nearest area where we can facilitate services and consular assistance to the Filipinos living in Bhutan. For example, New Delhi, as we all know, Mr. Speaker, we have a very strong ties in diplomatic arrangement and ties in relationship with India.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, distinguished sponsor. I'm very glad that we have, at least, even though we don't have direct access or embassy or consular, or even though we don't have diplomatic ties, with those 2 countries mentioned, at least, we have the proximity or closeness kung sino man yung pwede natin puntahan. And for that, I salute our DFA, for doing everything, at least to assist them. Now, moving forward, Mr. Speaker, distinguished sponsor, by the way, we don't have in Iraq, Afghanistan, we don't have those countries.
But, Mr. Speaker, we have a diplomatic relations with Iraq.
So just for the record, so because maybe our people might think that may gera ron. So we have.
Yes, and since
for
the
the
gentleman
record.
is asking for Iraq, we might as well ask me about Iran. So we do also have a
Okay, thank you very much.
with Iran.
Okay. Now, moving forward to my question. The DFA proposed expenditure program for 2026 is 30.1 billion, representing an 8% or 2.2 billion increase from the current year's expenditure program of 27.9 billion. In 2024, the DFA was unable to utilize almost 10 billion or 9 billion 995 million in funds. What are the reasons for this low utilization? Is the DFA doing something that this will not happen again for fiscal year 2026 as well?
Mr. Speaker, the funds that are supposed to be used for the retrofitting of the building and for the lease of new spaces for the DFA has not been materialized in the years that mentioned by the Honorable Interpolator. That is why, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, there's a low utilization of certain funds lodged to the DFA in the previous years, Mr. Speaker.
So comes 2026, okay na ho, magiging okay na lahat yan.
We hope, Mr. Speaker, based on the proposal budget for 2026, we included actually the retrofitting of the DFA old building, and as well as other opening of other consular offices across, not only across the country, because there are several requests made by LGUs and some members of this House to open consular offices in various provinces across the region, across the country, but as well as those consulate general offices that will be open, proposing in the 2026 budget in areas that I have mentioned in my opening remarks, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, distinguished sponsor. Moving to my next question. The DFA's overall disbursement rate declined significantly from 63% to 53.5%. What were the main factors behind this decrease? Does this reflect shortcomings in planning, procurement, or execution, or within the department, which is being held accountable for the failure to fully utilize the funds? Ano ba nangyari dito? Would that be related to the first question I asked you, as far as the utilization rate is concerned? Because as far as the disbursement rate is concerned, nag-decline from 63% to 52.5%.
Again, part of the reason again is the ones that I mentioned earlier, Mr. Speaker, as a response to the good gentleman, the good interpolator, that the supposed plan to retrofit the building and also to lease spaces for the offices extension temporarily was not met and was not materialized, and for other unutilized or the low utilization, the decrease of the utilization rate, Mr. Speaker, is also partly because of the passporting new policy. Previously, Mr. Speaker, the passport validity expires within 5 years, and now, Mr. Speaker, with the new policy that is now being implemented by the Department of Foreign Affairs, the passport validity of each of the citizens is now 10 years. So you would see, Mr. Speaker, also the actual utilization of the funds intended for the printing and for the printing of these passports, Mr. Speaker. To name a few, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor. And if I may also add, Mrs. Chair, the assistance to nationals fund usage was actually decreased due to the transition of some of the mandates of the Department of Foreign Affairs to that of the Department of Migrant Workers, Mr. Speaker. So there seems to be a transition period wherein it affected, Mr. Speaker, the funds that are lodged in to Department of Foreign Affairs to facilitate and implement these programs that I've mentioned, Mr. Speaker, in the previous GAA, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, distinguished sponsor. So the decline is not affected at all the experience receiving assistance as a result by our overseas Filipino people. So wala akong, as far as their assistance, no? Yung tulong na ibibigay natin. Because you mentioned the reason of the law disbursement because of some deconstruction of the building and rehabilitation. And then the other one is the passport. Am I right? Is that what you said?
That is correct, Mr. Speaker. Those are just one of the few reasons why there's a decrease in the utilization. But as to the question of the gentleman whether there's really and indeed a decrease in the utilization of the assistance to nationals, Mr. Speaker, again, since some of the mandates and authority of the DFA has been moved and transferred to DMW, part of that also is the actual utilization of these funds for specific budget entries in programs that has always been transferred to the MW. But so long as the budget for the consular services, assistance for the nationals living abroad, Mr. Speaker, still DFA is able to provide and to able to utilize these funds, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, distinguished sponsor. Which foreign service posts and programs were most affected by the low budget utilization?
Mr. Speaker, I would have to consult DFA for appropriate data. Mr. Speaker, I guess based on the data that we have gathered from DFA, Mr. Speaker, there's a decrease in the actual utilization rate of the assistance to nationals, meaning to say, in terms of distress rate among our nationals living abroad, Mr. Speaker, there seems to be a very low in terms of the requirement or the assistance that they need on number one, on repatriation, medical assistance, and the general welfare, Mr. Speaker. But be that as it may, Mr. Speaker, the utilization rate of the assistance to nationals is at 54.12% as of August 31, 2025. Just to give you a few additional inputs, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor. And with this new percentage, it actually amounts to 43,000 individuals across various regions living abroad, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, amounting to 541 million pesos. So if you ask me, going back to the question, it's mostly on the budget lodged to the assistance to nationals funds, which basically translate into the lower distress rate among Filipinos living abroad, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, distinguished sponsor. My next question, can the Department of Foreign Affairs confirm that the consular assistance to nationals, or ATN, program is its core program for providing assistance and protection to Filipinos overseas, particularly overseas Filipino workers, including legal, humanitarian, and crisis-related support?
Mr. Speaker, yes. That is actually, in fact, among the pillars, which is basically the third pillar of the Philippine foreign policy, Mr. Speaker. So, in response to the question of the good gentleman, the question is in affirmative. Speaker,
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, distinguished sponsor. Given the central role of the consular and assistance to national program in serving millions of Filipino abroad, why is it budget proposed to be reduced instead of strengthened to meet growing demand?
Again, Mr. Speaker, I guess if we're going to compare that in the previous years, as I've mentioned earlier, administratively and the mandate that was exercised or given to the DFA has now, some of the portions of the mandate has already been given to DMW. So I guess that's essentially why it affected the amount that is now DFA is requesting, and so far as the assistance to nationals is concerned. But in addition to that, Mr. Speaker, in addition to that, Mr. Speaker, the DFA has retained some and most of the programs to be able to utilize the assistance to nationals fund, Mr. Speaker. To name a few, consular services, repatriation services, legal assistance, for those who will be facing immigration-related cases, medical assistance, and even, Mr. Speaker, students' assistance to those who are living abroad and studying abroad, Mr. Speaker. The MW, Mr. Speaker, is primarily and essentially covers the issue on OFW, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor. If the good gentleman would still allow me to enumerate some of the services that's still under the ALN.
That's enough already.
Okay.
So I can move to another question. Because I have more questions and I have only 30 minutes left. So
Okay.
I'd rather use my time for my questions. Next, the department was unable to spend 6.5 billion or 58% of the funds allocated for passport and consular services. How does the DFA explain this underutilization of funds, given the long lines, appointment backlogs, and service delays experienced by the public?
There's a sudden decline, Mr. Speaker, of the usage and utilization of these funds simply because of the policy shift that we had previously implemented, which is the 5-year validity of each passport to 10-year validity, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
So that's the only reason why there was a backlog in appointments and even the long lines.
That is the reason, Mr. Speaker. But we would expect an uptick in the usage of these funds once the validity of those who have already been issued expired in 2027.
So because we're giving them 10 years.
Yes,
So
that is
yung mga
correct.
pipila hindi na ganun karami.
Tama po
So
yun.
maybe in the next few months or year to come.
Well, according to the data given to me by DFA, they project an uptick of utilization of these funds in the issuances of passports in 2027. Baka nga po yung expiry nung i-issue na po nila ng mga passports ay tatamaan po yung 10-year validity ng mga passports na ito, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much and thank you also for clarifying that the 5 years is no longer 5 years but it's 10 years, no? Mas maganda yan. I hope same thing goes with our driver's license. Next, of the 6.5 billion unspent in this consular services budget for 2024, what specific projects or activities such as expanding consular offices, acquiring new passport, printing equipment, or hiring more personnel were delayed or cancelled because of the 5.8 billion in appropriations unreleased by the DBM to OSEC? Nangyari ho ba ito?
May we request, Mr. Speaker, the gentleman to please restate his question again?
Yeah, because as far as my question is concerned, meron ba kayong unreleased na appropriations that the DBM should have been received by OSEC? Meron bang ganon na instance na delay yung pag-remit sa inyo ng pera?
Mr. Speaker,
Ng DBM?
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, allow me to confer with the DFA
Right.
officials. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, there's no real delays or unreleased obligation of funding, in terms of funding, Mr. Speaker, from DBM. Mr. Speaker.
So, Mr. Speaker, you received everything on time.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much
It appears that
for-
everything is settled.
Okay, thank you very much for clarifying that, distinguished sponsor. Mr. Speaker, the DFA's digitalization budget saw a significant increase for the electronic passport system, almost 698 million, and critical infrastructure resilience, around 451 million for 2026. How will the use of these funds specifically address the causes of the backlogs and delays that customers are currently experiencing, ensuring that the new technology translates quickly into tangible service improvements rather than becoming another set of unobligated funds? Is there something to do with the 10-year validity of passport?
Mr. Speaker, the question is somewhat interconnected, but although we can compartmentalize, my answer would have
Go ahead,
to be compartmentalized. Number one, it is well connected with the experience that we had previously by the DFA. Since we are also have to make sure that cyber attack will not, DFA will not be vulnerable to cyber attacks, there are certain modalities in terms of making sure that cybersecurity is well in place, and also the processing and even Mr. Speaker, those who may be needing by the DFA in terms of manpower are necessary to make sure that the three-pronged approach for information and communications, Mr. Speaker, by the department, Mr. Speaker, as one of the priority tasks in 2026, would have to significantly enhance its operational efficiency, security posture, and public service delivery. So yes, part of that is consular services, because we also need to be able to provide access to millions of Filipinos living abroad by using the database, by using online services, Mr. Speaker. The DFA ISSP budget in 2026, Mr. Speaker, is 919.4 million pesos. Under the general management and supervision, also under the consular services, is another 987.4 million for its ICT needs. Mr. Speaker, this includes projects for upgrading the department's data center, strengthening cybersecurity, updating its communications network, developing a visitors management system, enhancing its passport/visa, apostille systems, and other ICT-related costs. Remember, Mr. Speaker, DFA is not only catering to one country. We have several embassies and several consulates, separated by miles and miles apart by oceans and seas. So it's really important, Mrs. Chair, that we need to have a robust digital communication system so that we can not only support each other among embassies into making sure that those Filipino presence in these countries as well taken care
Mr.
of.
Speaker,
But we
I'm
are also
already satisfied with your answer, so let me move.
I want to give you more information because I love you so much. I have to give you all the
Thank you very
information
much,
I
Mr.
have.
Speaker. Now, the program for the protection of the rights and promotions of welfare of overseas Filipinos disbursed less than 40 centavos for every peso it was given. Can the department provide an estimate of how many requests for assistance from distressed OFWs went unanswered or were delayed as a direct consequence of its failure to disburse 60% of all the funds allocated for their protection?
Mr. Speaker, so far as the summaries of the particulars of those programs and services that we have already delivered to our distressed nationals living abroad, reparation, welfare assistance, medical assistance, shipment of remains, administrative expenses, OFW seminar conference, etc. Mr. Speaker, these are the items, and if the good gentleman would have more time, I can enumerate to him, but I can provide you this data. But as so far as the OFW immediate needs is concerned, again, there's a boundary, or there's a separation of powers between the DFA and that of the work and the mandate transferred from DFA to the Department of Migrant Workers, Mr. Speaker. Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
I will provide you this data,
Yeah,
Mr.
please
Speaker.
later on when we're done. The budget for the diplomacy program is set to increase by 1.2 billion. In stark contrast to the reduced budget of the consular and assistance to nationals program, what is the rationale behind this shift of priority?
I'll give you a short answer because of the establishment of the Department of Migrant Workers, Mr. Speaker. Your Honor.
Oh, because of that. So some of your workloads were transferred to migrant workers. Is that correct?
That is correct, Mr. Speaker. Your Honor.
Thank you. Now, question. As of mid-2025, the Philippine passport jumped 3 spots from rank 75 to 72 in the Henley Passport Index. However, we're still trailing behind Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, and our other Southeast Asian neighbors in terms of global mobility. What factors currently contribute to this, and how is the department working to expand visa-free or visa on arrival access for Filipino travelers?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, part of the complaints, I guess, that the DFA is acknowledged and would like also to remedy and to improve on is the security for passports. And so, Mr. Speaker, there's a new program that they want to prepare for the creation of a new generation passport, Mr. Speaker, to be at par with our neighboring countries especially those that are mentioned by the gentleman, no, and neighboring countries in the ASEAN, Mr. Speaker. We hope to implement this program, the target implementation of this program, this new generation passport, which passport would be more secure, digitally, etc., in 2027, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, distinguished sponsor. How does the government monitor and assess whether these gains in passport strength translate to benefits for ordinary Filipinos? For example, more travel opportunities, lower costs, fewer visa delays.
May we request, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, I apologize. May we request the good gentleman to restate again? The audio is not very clear.
How does the government monitor and assess whether these gains in passport strength translate into benefits for ordinary Filipinos? For example, in travel opportunities, lower costs, fewer visa delays. We're talking about the one I mentioned, as far as the
Yes.
passport is concerned.
Essentially, Mr. Speaker, the very purpose of a passport is for Filipinos to move abroad across the country. The mobility would be more expansive, and the movement of Filipinos traveling either leisurely or for official functions, Mr. Speaker, would be more assisted and would be more convenient for each Filipinos traveling abroad. I think the travel rate would be one indicator that the benefit of each Filipinos with this new generation passport would have to provide, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor. I would say.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now I move to personal management. With 352 unfilled permanent positions, why is the department relying on 469 temporary job order or COS workers? How does this practice align with the 11.7 billion personal services budget, and what is the department's long-term strategy to provide stability to your workforce and ensure the continuity of efficient public service delivery? Do you have that we have unfilled permanent position? This is a lot, considering, according to my report, 352.
Mr. Speaker, yes, because the demand for diplomacy, we're talking about diplomacy in representing our country abroad, we have to, again, select the brightest and the best among the applicants, Mr. Speaker. And the criteria for all these positions, and the demand for the foreign service, examination, Mr. Speaker, is somewhat rigid and more demanding as compared to other aptitude exams and for employment examinations, Mr. Speaker. So we are it's very, very tight, and it's very, very hard to pass this examination.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished sponsor. So how long that we haven't been filled this position? Because we're talking about 352 unfilled positions.
The
Medyo matagal na ito.
gentleman reminded of the time.
Yes,
Speaker, we will be-
Mr. Speaker. That will be my last question. I have a closing statement. Thank you.
And we will be holding the frequency of the exams, Mr. Speaker, that will be conducted by the DFA, which was once a year. Now they want to add another examination for making it 2 each year to allow more accessibility for those who are applicants, for those who are willing to join the foreign service, Mr. Speaker. So we also allow one additional examination para po mas mapabilis yung hiring, Mr. Speaker.
So, Mr. Speaker, we're talking about how
Your
many months, years before we fill this, this position?
Twice a month, twice a year, Mr. Speaker. Yes, it's twice a year. So, depending on I think would also depend on the timeline, would also depend on the need, I guess, of the DFA for such foreign service professionals to be hired, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Mr. This very important, last very quick question. But you have temporary employees of 469. So out of those 469, can you not choose among them who's the bright and best? Wala ba tayo doon sa 469 na job order o US workers natin?
Those 449, Mr. Speaker, are those who are assisting the DFA for consular services. Meaning to say the demand of the job is not that tedious and not that demanding as compared to those regular foreign service examinees or applicants or to be hired, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor. So that's the straight and short answer that we can provide to the good gentleman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll just rely on your expertise because I know the DFA, ibang klase yung DFA, kailangan the best ang kailangan yung kunin. Again, for my closing statement, if you allow me, Mr. Speaker, only 1 minute.
1 minute.
In
Yes,
response to that, Mr. Speaker, I'm no expert to DFA. I just have a very good
Can
and
you allow the
effective backup
gentleman to
strategy.
proceed for 1 minute
So you
question?
took my 10 seconds there, Mr. Speaker. Our discussion today has shown both the importance of the Department of Foreign Affairs and the many challenges it continues to face. The DFA carries a mission that is essential to our nation, to represent us abroad and to care for the millions of Filipinos who live and work outside our borders. We recognize that this is not an easy task and that demands on the department grow heavier each year. We also know that there have been difficulties in fully meeting these demands, especially in ensuring that resources are maximized and that services reach our people as quickly as they should. These are real concerns because behind every program and every peso in the budget are the lives of our countrymen and women who depend on the department for support and protection. This representation believes, however, that these challenges can be met with clearer priorities, stronger planning, and closer collaboration with Congress. The DFA can continue to improve its capacity to deliver timely and meaningful services to our people. For this reason, this representation expresses its support for the department's proposed budget with the hope that these resources will strengthen its ability to protect our citizens abroad, enhance its consular services, and advance the interests of the Philippines in the international community. May God bless us all. Maraming salamat po sa inyo.